in here. We in here. Yeah, we in here. Cause we can't get rid of us now. We in here. Yeah, we in here. Cause we can't get rid of us now. We in here. Yeah, we in here. Cause we can't get rid of us now.
And you know that we won't ever go till you do what you want. We in here for life.
That's it.
Welcome back. It's Monday. That means it's time for another powwow with the girls from Black versus the Board of Education. My name is Miss Laureen. Matt, you can turn your camera on. It's all good. And we have our special guest back for a second episode. And we'll get to him after we go ahead and let you know who's in the building. So let us go ahead and start with Miss Anaya. Go ahead and greet everybody.
Can you all hear me okay? Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Anaya, and I'm currently a junior in high school.
All right. Welcome back. Miss Melissa. Say hey, hey, hey.
Hi, everyone. My name is Melissa, and I'm a 15-year-old sophomore in Southern California.
Welcome back. Miss Jada.
Hi, my name is Jada, and I am a homeschool junior.
Miss Adia.
Hey everyone, my name's Adia and I'm a junior in the Sacramento area.
Perfect. And we're going to let our resident senior, one of them, say hey to the gang. So go ahead and say hey, Tran.
Hi, I'm Trinity. I'm a senior at Laguna Creek and I am 17.
Perfect. And before we move on past this, let's go ahead and let our special guest reintroduce himself for those who may be watching for the first time.
Well, hello, everyone. I am Matthew Grady, also known as M16 of M16 and the Full Moon Wolves Band, baby. Oh!
Okay. I haven't got to howling yet, but, after the day I've had, you might get one out of me yet.
We're just being moderate right now. It get crazy.
Absolutely. So listen, y'all, I've had one of those days and I kind of want to bring y'all into it. We don't have any current events because we're living one currently. We've spent the morning advocating for a student here in the Elk Grove area who was actually recommended for expulsion. So I wanted to kind of talk about it because we're going to be doing a series on the different issues that families are actually going through in the education system. And we're going to make it real to y'all. And we want you all to, weigh in on them. So this current case that came to me on Friday, this young lady was actually jumped on campus. It started off as mutual combat, which means two people fighting. And it evolved into what can be more than what can be described as a coordinated attack on a young lady. And because she defended herself, she was recommended for expulsion because she fought back. And I think the interesting thing is, you have administrators who jump in these fights. And I think I asked y'all the other day, when fights are happening on campus, do you engage? And Jada, what was the answer you told me when I asked you, do y'all engage on campus?
I said I would not engage because I know I'm going to get hit.
Okay. So if kids know that they don't engage because they don't want to get hit, tell me why this administrator jumped his behind in the middle of a fight that was already in progress. He got a little love tap, and now she's charged with assault and battery on a faculty or staff. I mean, we have to start looking at this discipline thing, and we have to start, asking questions when things don't just sit right. So we just actually left the district office for the hearing for that expulsion. And I can tell you, I'm not as frustrated as I thought I would be. I thought that I would deal with some more hostility coming from district representatives. However, it was determined that one violation that was listed on the discipline form was going to come off, but it was going to remain that assault and battery on a staff member was going to remain. And because she engaged in a fight and she defended herself, the charge of intentional infliction of, let me find it, I don't know, but it was 4900A1, which is the education code, and it's basically I guess it's intent to cause injury because she fought back. So do you guys think that if in fact something is going on campus and two students engage, one student fights it, or one student initiates it, do you believe that the student who is defending themselves should be charged with attempt to create great bodily harm or bodily harm on a student? Why or why not? And I'm gonna go to Trinity because she's shaking her head and I saw her first. What do you think, Trin?
I say no because I mean, if somebody's like punching you and hitting you and trying to harm you, like why would you not, like, like you have to defend yourself regardless if it's hitting or putting your hands out, whatever you're doing. Like you can't like let somebody beat your face in. Like that doesn't result in it. It doesn't result in anything like good.
Dee Dee, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with Trinity. Like, I never understand why schools will discipline like the person who started the fight and the person who's just defending themselves like the same. Because like I don't know, like what do they really expect someone to do? Just sit there and get like beat up? You know what I mean? Like it's just illogical at the end of the day.
Melissa, I see you shaking your head too. What do you think?
I'm agreeing with Trinity and Dee Dee. I don't feel like no one's gonna sit there and get beat up. You're gonna need to defend yourself, and the person who initiated the fight needs to also have consequences because she walked into school and was going about her day and then gets jumped. Like they initiated the fight, they started it. She's not gonna sit there and let people harm her. So yeah.
So when you're saying so just so the listening public knows, I did show you all the video. I'm not going to re-show it because we're not. But when you're talking about it's people need to understand that she was attacked. She started fighting with one girl. As that fight was separated, two other girls then jumped on her, and then there's a third girl aiming to kick her while the other two girls were fighting her. And so do you think that it was fair for her to be pinpointed and be the only one facing the harshest punishments? Jada?
I don't think that's fair, especially if she wasn't the one that started the fight. And I feel like they should have tried to protect her in a way. Like it just seemed like they were trying to get the two girls separated. And what it seemed like he was too busy focusing about the girl that started the attack that nobody could really get to the two girls that started jumping her. So it just seemed like nobody seemed to like care about her. And even now, nobody seems to like care about what happened to her. Like it's kind of her fault, which is why she's getting the consequences instead of the other girl.
Anaya?
I don't understand why she's getting the harsher punishment because, for example, like if someone is an intruder in your home, are you going to let them break into your house and take everything, or are you going to defend your property and defend yourself? So it's like saying, oh, because you defended your property and you defended yourself, you're going to jail as well. It doesn't make sense. Like you're going to want to defend yourself instead of just sitting there and getting beat up.
And I think I should be fair. The reason she's receiving the harshest punishment is because it was reported that she struck an administrator. Now, I let you all see the video. In my opinion, what I saw was this girl reach over the administrator to try to get the other young lady who was holding her shirt as she was trying to yank it away. And I see the administrator come into a fight that was already in progress. And so when you do that, you run the risk of being struck. Matt, you saw the video as well. And I know we were trying to process through it without you losing a gasket. But what are your thoughts?
So I've had time to calm down. And here's the two things I'm thinking in my head. I want to know, I'm asking myself, who raised you? Or either is this hostility with bias? We're all making this rocket science, but look at this. I'm a grown man with teenagers, which means because I'm a parent, I also have to be a teacher. I understand kids can get combative with each other. Of course, you ain't supposed to talk back to me. You don't raise your hand to me. I'm a grown man to know the difference. I pick a job to work on a schoolyard with somebody else's kids, and they bashing each other's head in. My job is to figure out, wait a minute, what's going on? Sally, what's the problem? Johnny, what's the problem? Eric, you don't got nothing to do with this. Sit down. Can't no teacher tell me they don't understand, because my dad's a school teacher and he done came home with a messed up finger like, my kids, they was out of line. Your kids? Yeah, my kids. I teach them somebody children. I sit them down and pop them on the butt like, old parents, old back in the day, they could pop us in school, but that was a different type of thing. That was a village type of thing. We were technically raising, your kids are getting some raising. Like, I'm gonna sit down and get y'all some act right. Both of y'all know way better than this. I'm talking to both of y'all parents. I mean, figuring out what's going on. Instead, I see a grown man, oh my God, stop. Oh my God, she hit me, with some kids. So if I'm looking at it from afar, I don't know who the kid, who the teacher, who raised you.
I think it's
go ahead, Trent.
I think it's funny because, like, on my campus, there's a ton of fight. Like, we're in high school. Like, let's be real, everybody's fighting all the time, big or small, whatever.
Children.
But right, yeah. So we're all kids, and like, I mean, I'm not gonna say like that's what kids do, because I don't do that, and I know we don't do that. But like, some people fight, and like that's what happens. But like, I've seen staff members that like literally walk away the other direction from a fight because they know the risk that like they're taking by interjecting in putting themselves in the middle of a fight. You can like watch videos of fights or whatever, and you can see like people like kind of like trying to stop it from afar, and then there's like those staff members that like really go in there and try to break it up. Like, you're not about to sit here and like act like she intentionally hit you like that, bro. Like that is just, it's childish, to be honest.
It's also preparing her to get used to injustice. Like, this is how the world works. You have no court, you have no jury. If we say you did it, you look like you did it. You're right. What? And then I don't picture no teenage girl hitting me and I want to press charges on her. Not even on accident, on purpose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My child, that's a different thing. I'm gonna deal with her and as I see fit. But somebody else's child, she's reaching on me trying to hit another child. I think I'm strong enough to say, now that's it. Y'all gonna stop it. I ain't about to choke nobody up, because they might mess around and get sued. At that point, you got it needs to be police, camera, whatever it was. Even if the teacher couldn't handle it, they should have enough protocol and common sense to sit down and say, hey, we're going to find out what happened. We're going to look at the school cameras. We're going to ask students. We don't get all that he say, she say, but they're just, like I said, is it you? I know it may sound funny, but I say this again. Who raised you? Or is this some hostility with bias?
Yeah, and in my opinion, it was biased. And the reason I say that is he immediately went to shield the non-Black student. He immediately went to cover her and try to remove her from the situation, which left the other Black girl exposed. Right? You said what?
If she's not safe in this type of situation, a young Black girl. Imagine me somewhere if I was under attack and I was defenseless. Imagine they come knock me on the side of the head because I'm the one with the tattoos and the braids. And I'm the one that probably called the police to come help me. Like, it makes me think like, whoa, so now you want to prepare our children to get used to like, this is just how the world works.
Yeah. And that's exactly the message. So in viewing the video, what I see is he made sure to take the student that looked like him away from the situation, leaving this other girl there for those two girls they came from the left and the right to converge on her, and they both began hitting her, and they were nowhere in the discipline report at all. Not mentioned, not thought about, not even nobody. If you didn't see the video and you didn't work and walk alongside this family, nobody would know these other two girls existed because they're not mentioned.
So the people that don't even have nothing to do with it, no one's saying about their actual blatant intentional assault that could have been fatal.
They're not mentioned at all.
Because they were by her temple. Which means
nobody mentioned it.
If the girl had a concussion coma by girl A and
she does have a concussion, and nobody checked on her. She went to the front office. They asked her if she wanted to clean herself up. No nurse checked on her. She was bleeding from the forehead and the nose. Nobody went and assisted her. She said that they did get her some ice after she asked for it. Like, if that's not just, oh my God, you guys, like, I was just floored because I just don't understand what we expect students to do in that situation where adults are so callous about their health and their well being that nobody, not the nurse, nobody came to check on her. And her mama took her to the doctor and she has a concussion.
Do these
Like,
teachers get
that's what
trained
we're
in these
doing?
type of situations, or do they interview these teachers to say, "Do you have kids, and what do you do in situations where your
And
kids?"
this wasn't a teacher. This was an administrator. This
An
was an
administrator,
administrator.
yeah, so he has to enforce these procedures amongst his.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And he lied. He basically, the video shows, like I said, this young lady reaching over him to get to the other student. He said on the discipline form that she hit him intentionally 3 times in the back of his head.
And how many other teachers are speaking up or saying anything or know about it?
There was one other person who actually said he believes that's what he saw the student make contact 3 times with the back of the administrator's head. The video does not support that conclusion. So we have a problem.
How are these kids supposed to get anything out of a bunch of adults handling things like kids?
Thank you. That's what I'm trying to ask. That's what I'm trying to understand.
Where do they go? What do they do?
Well, they're on the campuses. Y'all, where do y'all go and what do you do?
That we teach them. That's how we teach them at home. Hey, this happened. Hey, I don't condone you to do nothing, but this happened. Go let your mama come tell me. So they learn that, and if they go to the school and say, "Hey, this happened," and the teacher's like, "Nobody cares," or if they just don't say nothing because they feel like, "Well, you don't care."
Yeah.
Like, whoa.
Trent?
I mean, go ahead.
I don't know. Like, I don't know what I would do in that situation. Especially because she's the one like facing like the harsher punishment. We talked about this a lot the last season, was like parents have to believe their kids, because like if she was like, and like if she and her mom, you know, whatever, like they like miscommunicated or whatever, like, and she was facing expulsion, like that's something very serious. That's something that has lifelong effects. And if you were afraid to like communicate that to your parents, like where would she be, you know? And if her parent didn't know to reach out to an advocate or to lawyer, whatever, like where would she be, you know? So
And
I don't know. It's
man,
like, and it's, yeah, as far as like on campus, it's like, I don't know where I would go. Like, I mean, on my campus, we have a BSU room now, and I know I could talk to Ms. Brown, or I text Miss Lorene when I have a problem. So it's, and I call my mom, like, you know, that type of thing. But like in that instant, something that severe, something that serious, where you're like your body, you're physically, mentally, emotionally like hurt, injured, you basically were abused and assaulted, and like, what would you do? I don't know what I would do. Like, I don't know. It's just like, it's traumatic.
Yeah, and I think that your adrenaline is running in that situation, right? Like you don't know how hurt you are until you calm down and you get to take a self inventory. She just started dealing with headaches, right? And then it's just like, oh, and they're severe headaches at this point. She had to go get a CAT scan for them to diagnose her with a concussion. My biggest issue is they were so focused on being punitive to her, nobody gave a damn enough to check on her. That's very simple. That's a simple thing, to check on her, to make sure she's okay.
If he could charge her for assault, can the family charge the school for child endangerment?
That's a good question. Because you look like you was trying to drop your mic. I think that's what that was.
That's what I just did.
Didi, were you about to say something, honey? I saw you come.
Yeah, I was just gonna add to that. You know what I mean? Talking about like how like nobody like even checked on her or took care of her, and all this stuff was going on. I feel like we also touched on this like last season too. But like there's no compassion on Black students within schools. Like there really isn't, and Black students are not seen as like just humans or as kids. Like, and people have no sympathy for them or what they're going through. It's just like you said, it's just all about being punitive. Instead of trying to figure out the problem. And like nobody's asking her what happened or her point of view or anything. You're just listening to some teachers who don't even know what they're talking about. And yeah, you can't make this up. Like it's just so like
you just can't make it up. It up. You know, and so, you know, as I sat with this young lady yesterday, because, you know, I like to sit with y'all and kind of feel what you're feeling. I want you to take me through things in your own words. And I asked her, I said, what do you want folks to know about this situation? She said, I want folks to know that he's a liar and that he's racist. And I said, okay, so why would you say he's racist? She said, because he immediately said the black girl hit me. And as mom came to the campus to retrieve her daughter, because she waited for the bell to ring before she let her daughter get out of class, thinking these other girls would already be in class because it was the tardy bell.
Mommy,
She had no idea. She had no idea that they would be waiting for her child to walk onto campus, right? And so when she gets the call from her daughter that these girls jumped her, she made a U-turn and came back to the campus. As a parent, receiving that call from your child that somebody injured them, my heart goes out to that, because I would probably have flipped over some damn tables. I'd want somebody's job at this point, because I think it's egregious that we just kind of gloss over the fact that this is a continuation of a situation that transpired on that Thursday prior to Labor Day. These girls threatened to beat her and her mother up, cussing at her mom in the parking lot. They then continued this after sending her messages on social media. They continued this type of thing up until Tuesday morning. That's a premeditated, coordinated attack, and somebody needs to be held accountable for that.
We got
And also, like,
child endangerment on school property. Like, it's 1,000 reasons why this is bass apples.
Yes.
I also have a problem with I just noted you said that it was on social media as well. And like a lot of the times when you like report incidents to schools about things that are going on, whether it's like racial discrimination or bullying or somebody threatening something, schools do not take that serious. And this is a problem, because kids and people in general are so bold, like behind the internet. We never know who's going to act on what they say. And the fact that like administrators and the district can feel so comfortable sending out a letter saying we don't condone this, like, but not acting on that, not seeing who's behind that. Like, they failed her on so many levels, and my heart goes out to her. And it really does break my heart. And I don't know, it's really like deeply rooted in racism. And when you said like the black girl, when you said that she said the black girl hit me, like that, I got chills, like, because it's 2021. Like, you're a grown man, bro. You're a grown man, and you signed up to be an administrator at a high school, and you're acting like this. This is so childish. This is beyond me, bro. It's like I can't. It's like,
I mean, and he had an option. He had an option to not jump in there if he didn't want to get hit too. Because when fists are flying, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. So, Anaya, you wanted to jump in?
Yes. So that's like, to my knowledge, that's like the second or third time someone has got jumped at that school. And I haven't heard anything about the school addressing it, like, hey, let's do this, let's not do this. So it's like, I think there was a fight on the first day of school, and then there was a fight like almost, I think, like every single week after that. It's like, what is the school doing to prevent that instead of blaming the victim? Because that's what they did to her. And like,
they didn't see her as a victim.
Heart.
Yeah, they didn't see her as a victim, right? Like, how does somebody
regardless, they're kids.
Jumped?
Get to the bottom of both sides, because they're kids. They're kids. Get to the bottom of both sides. You don't call. I'm not gonna agree. I'm not gonna label the we're a loser, aggressor, this. I'm like, yo, I'm trying to stop it and get to the bottom of it. And then when I find out there's aggressor in it, then okay, now this needs to be disciplinary action.
Right. So what you're saying is that they should have completed a thorough investigation.
Yeah, but what if we even did that? They should have completed calming down a fussy crowd of kids. Is my first order. Make sure kids are safe. Make sure, it may be. I'm sorry about that. Can you hear me still?
Yep.
Make sure kids are safe. Make sure the air is clean. Make sure there's no knife maybe about to come out. If you scary, then you scary. But you sign up as administrator, those kind of things may happen. Kids they're high school kids. They're gonna get rowdy. And these are girls at that, so it's more like, they're gonna This is emotion and passion. I don't know who's mad at who started what. I don't care. They're kids. I need this to stop. I need to set situation. Y'all need to go inside. I'm calling on teachers. Hey, this is just hey. I need some more teachers to get out here, escort some of your homeroom students. If you know them, get them out of here. Hey, go, boom, disperse. Hey, leave. Well, I'm gonna call the police on campus, and I know your mama. Hey, go. I'm shouting at people, getting them to move, and then what happened?
But you said that. Hold on, real quick.
You know what I'm saying?
You said that you would say, "Stop it! I know your mama," and that's to me is implying that you, as an administrator, would look to build relationships with your family so that you could have these conversations. This young lady is new to that campus.
And I know this why, because my father, my father was a school teacher for at-risk teens.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking about teens that took guns to school, and my dad still ain't never hurt nobody child because he built that relationship. And my mom was a first grade teacher. So I've been around teachers that know there's no way he can explain well. There's no well to that. I don't care.
Yeah, and this is the kicker for me. Another, disturbing fact, or I'll give you two. One, she was so new to that school, she couldn't even name the people who attacked her. She didn't know them. Number two, they never called in the witness or the young lady that was walking with her to class before she was attacked. They didn't get a witness statement from her. And so when you're looking at these type of things and you're listening to this so-called investigation that was done by the school, when you have missing pieces, that's not a thorough investigation. And so I'm trying to figure out why all the vitriol was turned on this girl who was new to the campus, who did not know these girls who attacked her, who had never had even a fight anywhere in her school career, who was known at the other school, the previous school, as someone who was compassionate, 3.89 student, never had any issues, a student athlete, and this is her welcome to her new school.
When kids are being influenced by their elders, when you got a whole section of elders turning up their nose at every young black girl, what do you expect everybody else around them to do? And these are kids. And like at the end of the day, there's got to be some accountability. These kids are not just learning this automatically.
Yeah.
It's like a slap in the face on top of that with what they're being taught and what they're not being taught.
Yeah. Melissa?
I feel like if this administrator was going to jump into this fight, like we're saying, you go into a fight, you're going to get hit. I feel like if he was going to whine about someone hitting him intentionally, we know that didn't happen. I feel like if you're going to whine about that, leave it to security or someone whose job that is. That was not your place. So if you are going to do that, then you need to be fully prepared and know what's going to happen instead of trying to put the blame on someone else.
Also, where were the other staff members? Where were the security guards? Where were the teachers walking by? Where was the teacher standing at their door? What did they say about the situation? Because I know someone had to be there, and if there wasn't, that's another way they failed the kid. Like they failed her. Another reason they failed her.
In my understanding,
it makes it seem like they don't want her there, and it hurts my heart to even say that, to think that.
Yeah.
What adult would even make that kind of narrative be possible?
Yeah, and I think, I can't say if that was their intention, but I know that they were negligent. I agree with Miss Marie in the comments. She said they didn't do an investigation to find out the truth, right? They already made up their minds who the guilty party was. When you come into a situation and you don't know all the facts of what precipitated that situation, and you come in at a certain point, you may think the victim is the aggressor, especially, if she's beating the other kids up.
Well, he shouldn't be an administrator.
Yeah. And I think he should be fired. And that's what I asked for this morning during the press conference. He needs to be relieved of his duty because he's not good at administrating. Maybe he needs to go bake some damn cookies or something. I don't know. But he's not good at being an administrator. This is a job that's going to require people with compassion, with intelligence, with skill, with knowing how to dissect the situation. I'm not saying I want the little girls who were fighting to be arrested. I don't want that. But I think that they were negligent in the fact that they didn't even get to the bottom of the situation to find out why the situation occurred in the first
Got
place.
it right.
And it
So
makes it dangerous to send her back to that campus without doing that because she could be a sitting duck. I mean, to put it lightly. Like she could
I
be
can't get
in
over the
that
fact
position.
that he's saying that he walked away with a child while the situation was still taking place, meaning he failed to finish de-escalating a situation.
Well, because he was worried about the aggressor.
In broad daylight.
Yeah. They, like I said, his account of what happened is so convoluted because he was focused on the girl he was trying to protect instead of what was going on with the girl he left behind. All those girls that started hitting her are friends. He should have taken the black girl away and got her out of that situation.
Another subject of why he's so worried about that.
If he knew the other girl well enough to go protect her, he knew, like, especially if they're all of the same demographic, like she was being attacked. It's clear, it's clear as day. And it's making my blood boil. Like,
I don't even care.
It was my blood was boiling too, Trent.
Okay, this is a new student. She's more than likely getting bullied on anyway. Like I would. It's just some common sense factors, problem solving. Like,
let me ask y'all this. Let me ask you this question, and I want the ladies to answer me. Does it make a difference to you? And do you think this was really intentional? If you found out the girl who was jumped is dating the other girl's ex, talk to me.
Wait, you mean like the fight was intentional, or like if we knew that information, do you mean then we think the fight is intentional? Or like
yeah.
what? I mean, yeah, like girls will fight over that all the time.
That's not a reason to expose her, put a bad record on her, or for a grown man to have so intertwined entanglement beyond, like I said, it's a girl fight. Let me assess and settle the situation and make sure not only these two, but all of the other children spectating are safe, because I got a boatload of children right now that could be in danger. So I need to figure out what's going on.
And I know that's the adult answer, but I want the girls to tell me, does that make it different, a little bit different for you to know that she is now dating the girl who attacked her, who she doesn't know she is dating her ex-boyfriend? Jada.
Even though girls fight over this all the time, it's no reason for you to get jumped. Like, not saying that it's okay if it was a one-on-one fight, because people want to settle whatever they feel like they have to settle. But me dating your ex, it leaves no reason for you to come and jump me. Like that just doesn't make any sense. It just makes me look at this like it makes the aggressor look bad at this point, because it's dumb. It was for a dumb reason.
It's intentional. Like this whole fight was intentional. They planned, regardless if they planned to jump her or not. They knew there was some words in the air. There was probably talking mess about her. There's probably, I'm gonna beat her up, because that's how girls get in high school. Like, come on now, bro. This is intentional. And the fact that administrators didn't even, and as an administrator, that's something you do know. Girls are gonna fight over boys. Boys are gonna fight over girls. We all in this weird stage of life, and they didn't even know that. They didn't even get to the point where they could figure that out and realize and assess that this was intentional. And then they put the blame on the black girl. I'm at a loss for words.
Like she said, if he don't intentionally have some racist bias, if he doesn't, then the other question is, where is the disconnect of parent, adult, child? I'm a father. Like I said, I would have sat these girls down and look, baby girl, the boy gonna walk away at the end of the day, and y'all two gonna be in trouble. I would have been sitting here having a conversation, walking off, and then sitting down and who started this? Now, if I'm gonna find out who started this, and whichever one of y'all did, y'all know we gotta talk to your parents, do some exposure. Now I got to make sure neither one of you got a concussion. Lord Jesus, I'd have been here trying to make sure all the children are okay. That's my job.
Yeah, but I don't think expulsion ever comes on the table. Like it's a fight, right? And we need to get to the crux of what the issue is so that we can move on. Well, the administrator does need to be fired because he didn't do his due diligence. He didn't make sure everybody was safe. They said we have an obligation to make sure the students are safe. I said, which students?
And at that, like, what? There's multiple administrators on campus. What were they doing in the situation? Because their job and whatever they were doing is questionable as well. Not just the one who said what he said and neglected the black girl. All of them, the front office people, the nurse, everybody, like all of you guys, everything, like your job is questioned. Like I'm not saying like you should be fired, but like some needs to happen. Some accountability needs to happen because they neglected her at the highest level.
Yeah, negligence.
I'm just still like baffled that he's trying to get her on assault and battery. Like we watched the video. Like I'm just like I can't even get past that. Like he literally jumped in the middle of a fight mid swing and then got a little hit on his face, and now he's trying to.
And it wasn't his face. It was somewhere back here.
Oh, where
as she was reaching over.
Felony that could screw her over. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, trying to act like she was like full on like squaring up with him, trying to fight him, like
intentionally. And he said he categorized it as a punch. What I saw was not a punch. It was like a swipe, if that. But my understanding is that even if you touch an administrator's arm, back, whatever, that is considered assault and battery because you made contact. And in my mind, I'm thinking in order to charge a student with that, that should be such an egregious act. Before we put that in a kid's record, that has to be an intentional thing, not something that happens in the commission of a fight.
Like I said,
we have to make the difference.
I know the difference between a child charging and trying to harm me, and I'm like, this child needs the police to deal with them, and I'm gonna let the police deal with it. But like she said, adrenaline rushing, love tap, girl to swipe me because she's trying to get to the other girl that obviously that jumped in front of her. And it's like, who raised? Does this person have kids? How do they even get to be an administrator? And if they are, and if they've been that way, I am scared too who allowed that. That's even worse. Whoa.
I want them to look at all his previous files of how he has administered discipline in the past. Because if this is what they're doing, if they're jumping in and then turning around and charging students with assault and battery on a faculty to get them out of school, like that's questionable at best. And I need to look at everything that he's done up to this point. And I would like an attorney to tell me how we get access to that document or those documents.
Like I run and jump and clothesline a kid and be like, "Oh, you headbutted my arm. You're going down."
Not you headbutted.
And I was just thinking about how unintentional her hits were because one, he jumped in the middle of two people that were already like fighting. So of course he'd accidentally get hit. And not to mention two other girls start jumping her, so she's just getting hit everywhere. So if you start coming in, she's like, she doesn't know who's coming next because there's just these fists flying and things like it's unintentional. And it like, how does it not make sense to you that if you jump into an already started fight, you're going to get hit, and none of those hits are on purpose,
and no disrespect,
towards you.
You're teenage girls. I'm sure in a fight, your heart is probably pumping so dang old fast. You're probably more impulse than you are any logic. And I could fully understand that because now I'm a parent. I'm an adult with common sense. I'm sure your mind is going at 1,000 seconds. And if I go on you in 1 millisecond, that's enough just for me to get touched. And it ain't enough to charge no child, man. I don't know any adult that will agree with that unless they got. I don't know an adult that would agree with that.
So I wanted to add on real quick about Miss Lorraine's question about do you think it makes a difference with the girl who got jumped dating the guys dating the girl's ex who jumped her. I think it makes a difference, not making it seem like, oh, she deserved to get beat up. I'm not trying to say that, but I'm saying that that's what the school needs to focus on because this was premeditated because this girl is so focused on, oh, you're dating my ex-boyfriend. Now I'm going to beat you up. Oh, you're new to this school. I don't know you. You don't know me. But I'm so mad. And that's the type of person I am that I'm just going to go.
Is it mad or is it jealousy? Is it mad or is it jealousy?
Jealousy.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's
Okay.
like I'm gonna go get my friends and jump you because it's like you don't know me. So
And I see Miss Marie left another comment and it got cut off because I think it was super long. But if your student ever has any more problems, make sure you contact me. We like to get involved in situations like that because I believe that there are students who are allowed to get away with things by virtue of their background, right? White kids get away with things that Black kids can never get away with. Latino kids get away with things that Black kids can never get away with. And we have to start having that conversation. And we have to be real about what's going on, especially with these discipline numbers, with this hyper focus on Black children, with thinking that they are older than they are, and actually the general premise that students or kids are going to think like adults do. They don't have the skills yet.
It seems like a bunch of childish adults teaching some children how to be adults is not going to work.
I would agree. Melissa agrees too, because I see her saying something. I don't know. She ain't off mute, but I see her saying something. What you saying, Melissa?
I'm agreeing. I'm like, how are you going to be, like he said, a childish adult trying to teach a child how to be an adult when you're not an adult yourself? Like, you can be the age of an adult, but maturity level is what counts. And if you're handling a situation like a child, how are you going to teach a child to handle a situation like an adult should when you're not handling it like that?
I agree. And what do I tell y'all about administrators? First of all, when she went to that office and they told her to clean herself up and gave her a statement for a paper for a statement, what do I tell y'all about that? What I tell y'all about giving statements to these damn schools?
don't give it to them until you have Miss Lorene or a parent or a lawyer, somebody else with you.
Thank you.
Take your paper.
Use your right to remain silent. Shut up. Because they will use that statement against you, or they will attempt to. Because she gave her statement. That statement did not make it into the discipline form. Those other two girls who attacked her did not make it into the discipline form. As a matter of fact, she told me they went back to class after assaulting her. They walked away and went back to class.
That child should not be wrongfully mistreated in a school to where she has to go outside of the school to seek proper legal counsel in order to be justifiably treated.
Well,
It's
she
too
shouldn't
much-
have to, but I'm glad she did.
It's too much for a teenager to be having to dealing with right now. It's just not where
Yeah.
if that's teaching her what the world is, and it scares me because these are young Black ladies. We ain't got job on young men yet,
Yeah. No, we haven't.
and
And
it's
it's,
just like,
it's crazy. It's
Why?
crazy. So I volunteered myself to go into the school and to help them mediate this situation. I don't know if they'll take me up on that. It'd be in their best interest to, because I want to know why it escalated to this. I mean, I got more context now knowing that she's dating the ex-boyfriend of the girl who attacked her. I got more context, but how do we stop this from happening again? What do you guys think? How can we stop these situations?
All right, how can we stop these situations, guys? Give me some ideas.
Y'all got to keep talking about it. It can't be quiet about it. You know when to be quiet, like she said, when to write the name inside of those situations. But we got to keep talking about it, and you got to keep it classy. I always tell y'all that. Stay calm about it. But overall, this needs to go up to Board of Education. Obviously, you can't change it with an admin if an admin ain't do. You know what I'm saying? And then you have to look in your local communities. How is your superintendent? Start, parents get out there, meet the superintendent. Start taking these suggestions higher up, and that's the only way it's going to do it. Children, you know how they say you are the future. That cliche saying is real. Hey, y'all need to start becoming school teachers, superintendents, admins, and change the game. Be the change you want to see, because we can knock them down, fuss them down, sue them down. As long as there's somebody in a chair that does not favor you, ain't too many changes you're gonna be able to do.
I also think like the social media piece is a big part that schools need to start like working on and like looking at, because there's a lot of like, I don't know, they always say like, okay, well, if it didn't happen on campus, we can't really do nothing about it. But these things, that are like these things that are going on social media, that people talking mess or maybe commenting that they're gonna fight. These are things that will take place on campus. So we have
Child,
to
they
stop it.
being lazy to you when they tell y'all that. They're being lazy.
Right.
Because
And like,
when they get y'all in that setting, that's the perfect time to mold and hone you so you can move right and the rest of this, not hinder you even more.
yeah, and teachers at my school be like, well, we see what y'all like are posting on social media. So if you could get the fight video and you could see who was posting it, you can definitely see who was saying what and why
Well,
they
tell
were
them to,
saying
tell
it.
them to
You
stop
can
sitting
figure
at home
that out.
watching TikTok all day and follow the curriculum.
Who you talking about?
Matter of fact, upgrade the curriculum because the curriculum ain't right. Because she said, you know how the teachers would be like, well, we see how y'all do on social media. Like, well, what do you sit and watch Facebook all night too? Like, is that what
I do.
the admin, before he caught the fight, he was flicking through TikTok and he was like, oh, a fight. You know what I'm saying? And ran like just in the twilight zone. I'm dead ass. Excuse my language.
Yeah, no, you're good. I just think that a lot of times, they have this desire to continue with business as usual. And like I told y'all, once we came back from the pandemic, ain't no business as usual. Like, it's not a thing.
You can't fake the funk on no kids. You can't fake like you care. And in these situations, everything, you can't fake it.
Well,
And you
this
can't fake it to
situation,
no
he didn't
parents.
seem to care. He didn't seem to care because she was left by herself while
Now,
he's shielding
the
the
fact that
other
they're
girl.
getting more bold, that means somebody higher up ain't saying something, or we ain't showing enough because they feel that it's okay. And I don't see no other race that people feel like it's okay to do something because there will be no repercussions.
Also,
I
I
have
think
a
like
question. Go ahead, Jen.
I was just gonna say one thing I learned from BYOP is like the chain of command thing, and I think that's something that really, really helped. Is because like at first you're like, okay, well, I could go, like, generally speaking, I could go to like this teacher and they'll help me and all this stuff. Teacher has a union, so they can't really do much, and also some teachers are just like honestly crappy and they don't care about you. They just want to get their check and go home. So it's like that there's that, and then you go to the administration level, and I feel like they're worse as far as like schools go. They don't know us personally. They see us walking in the halls, but we're just there. We're not. They don't know us, and they don't care about us. And I genuinely feel that. So then
Let me ask you something before
yeah.
you keep going. How are you all identified in school? What do y'all have? Each one of y'all. What do they assign you?
What do you mean?
What is your student ID number?
Oh, well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what is that like? What other
prison number, jail
okay.
number? I've been saying that for the past couple of days. I was like, y'all, like, because they blown, like, we're in passing period, 4 minutes up. Sorry, this is personal, but like 4 minutes, like, left the passing period. We was in class for 2 hours almost, and they blowing the whistle at us, like, talking about go to class, and they're like, all the security guards and administrators are trying to hurt us in, like we're some like sheep or something like that. Like, come on now. I was like, this is like y'all acting like this is a jailhouse. Like, come on now, we're at school. Like.
Mm-hmm. And what do they call them? Yard supervisors? What other place has yards?
When do they call it a yard? Why are they doing this?
They call them yard duties.
What other place has a yard?
Prison.
Oh, okay. So when we're starting to talk about the mentality of these people who think that they're administrating something, they don't know the students by name. They know them by numbers. That's how they track you through this education system, right? And we think that just because they're there that they care. And I need it to be abundantly clear. They do not care. Now, I can't say all of them. I would say most of them that I've come into contact with, because their idea of caring is, well, I said hi this morning. Nobody care about your hi. Keep your hi. I want you to be equitable in the way in which you deal with students who look like me, just like you do with the students that look like you.
But the teachers,
that's what I want.
It's like they co-workers.
Do they?
Teachers
co-workers in what way? In what way?
Oh, damn, even worse. Yeah, because they don't even get the respect of a co-worker.
No, because Naya started shaking her head.
I know this for a fact. Good teachers, I feel like good teachers and have always been underpaid. And I feel like over the last few decades, we have lost some great teachers. But like I'm saying out to all you good teachers out there,
say something.
Look at the impact that you create when you are around. regardless if the system is rigged or this is that, your impact is worth billions and trillions. It can't put a price on the impact that you can do generationally. This is what it looks like when you're absent. The people who just want to check, they're going to come in, they filling in the holes where y'all have retired. By all means, yes, but the ones who haven't and just aren't stepping up it because the whole teachers are underpaid narrative,
Well, I mean, I think it depends on what teachers wear. It depends on what teachers wear.
I've heard
because I have parents who've been teachers and they make pretty good money.
I mean, I'm not saying they don't make good money, but I feel like I don't know. There was a side of like teachers aren't appreciated enough or paid great enough for their hard work.
Well, some of them need to doggone retire.
Yeah, now
some of them shouldn't be paid. Go sit your ass down somewhere. Some of them need to be retired because they're not good at their job, and we have to be honest about that. I don't care if the union protects them. Some of them are not good at their job, and they need to go away.
And also,
on the flip side of that, hold on real quick, Trent. On the flip side of that, administrators don't have a union. They can get rid of him like that.
Besides the admin, who votes that in?
Nobody votes them in. They get hired. That's a job. Nobody votes them in.
That just like sound right.
And they don't have a union, and they can be fired for negligence, like he needs to be
voted in by the majority of the people of
who? The students?
No, the patrons of parents. The patrons of parents who go to the school that should have a say so in who the admin is as a whole.
Well, you would think, but that's the time to weigh in on that would be at a school board meeting, and a lot of us are not there. Trin, you were going to say something.
To a community.
I was gonna say another thing is like, you know, like we always think like there's like good teachers, but like one thing I have noticed like some teachers like I know I could go to for certain things and stuff like that, but like at the end of the day, I honestly feel like none of them care about me. Like I feel like they give up. So like for example, Student Equity Council, like we don't even have an advisor no more because that is too hard. But like they didn't do anything. Like I put my blood, sweat, and tears into Student Equity Council, into making plans and doing all this stuff. And now we don't have an advisor because it's too hard and they're too busy. But you care about me and you want an equitable learning experience. Like, come on. Like, I don't know, man. It's something. It's something.
And what I would say is it is very, very hard to work within a system that does not appreciate you. I can say for your Student Equity Council advisor, she was not getting the support that she wanted. And as a matter of fact, on your Student Equity Council, they were giving y'all a bunch of busy work. And then they took your work and adopted it as their own, as if they had done the work. Let's be clear. Y'all did that work, and they adopted that work and put it under their framework as if they had done it. They made y'all make a dictionary of terms so that they can understand what the hell you were talking about?
Oh, really?
Yes. They had the students create a dictionary so they can know what they're talking about.
Converted so we don't even need you at this point.
It's just so ridiculous. It's a bunch of busy work so they didn't have to do anything and they didn't have to move. And we have to talk about that.
Man, they Columbus
talk about that
history real quick. Oop.
And then now you don't even have an advisor, but you did the work. So what are they going to do to make sure you get what you need? Equity is giving everybody everything they need to be successful. So who's going to come in now?
Well,
it's absolutely ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and I'm sick of them.
Ooh, I got to try not to. I got to be nice.
Just breathe.
I'll be
because we both can't be.
I'll be forgetting I'm on the podcast. I'll be about it.
Right. And you know what? I'm sorry we took up all your time today. We took up all your time and we didn't even talk to you about you. Like we did this last week and we just didn't even get you. We didn't get you today.
I'm here for y'all, man.
I think you should think about joining the team a little bit more often and coming in and giving your colorful commentary. That's what I think. You should be part of it.
For y'all, since I get y'all 10 grand, I do need the whole like $2.37.
I'm a cash app you.
But no, I'm here for y'all. I'm here for y'all. I genuinely am. I wish I could do more. I speak life into this. I will do more one day in Divine or somebody who I may inspire somebody to do more and pay it forward. But regardless, I genuinely believe in you guys, and so I'm not here for me.
And I'm not here for me. I'm here for them, and I'm here to make sure that their voices are heard, that they weigh in on things that will ultimately affect them because they're on these campuses. And I hate to see you guys go through this when they could have put in supports at the top of the year for somebody like me to come in and make sure that things were handled in the proper way, so that we're not punitively dealing with one group while giving another group a slap on the wrist. I want equity in their discipline practices. That means if the other two girls got 2 days of suspension, my student shouldn't be out on 5 day suspension. Period. Point blank. It shouldn't happen, especially if she was the one attacked. So we have to talk about that.
It needs to be clear that there is a protocol on how to handle these situations. And if there is one, what is it and why wasn't it followed? And how do we start implementing and enforcing it and be some people watching parents? The parents need to also, and I would say parents need to start going up to the school more, but even when they do that and they still act like that, what do we do? Like that gets ridiculous at that point.
Well, you got to give the teachers a heads up when you come to campus now. You can't just show up on the campus. You got to give, I think it's 48-hour notice. If I give a teacher 48-hour notice and she been cutting up, she know I'm coming in 48 hours. Guess how she gonna act when I come? Anybody want to how she gonna act when I come?
She about to be the fakest person.
Her tone gonna really switch up.
She gonna act.
Welcome. Oh my god.
Hey, hi, so and so's mom.
She's so smart.
I love your child.
Wow, I love her.
But that kind of sweeps the situation, and then nothing ever. Nobody's ever what's the word, held accountable. So it keeps happening. There needs to be something that these teachers know, like, hey, if I do this, if I don't follow this right, there will be some disciplinary action. Maybe
that's when I come in.
Child endangerment, because
that's where I come in the situation. I'm the one looking on the outside.
Why is it different on school campus? If I were to handle some children like that in a certain way on the street or in my car or in my dwelling or with my own children, wouldn't it be child endangerment? So why isn't that even stricter on the school campus? You can't speak in the school zone. You can't have alcohol in the school zone. It's a big charge to be doing any kind of drug school zone. So why any type of harm to a child on a adult's watch can't be also equally taken seriously in a school zone?
You know what? I've always wondered that. And so if I have anybody who works at CPS watching today, can we get you on so we can ask you that? Because they're quick to go after parents who do things to students. But what about these other adults who ain't related to these kids who do things to students? Like, why aren't they brought up on failure to protect charges? Why aren't they brought up on neglect charges? Like, those are the questions that I have. So if anybody's watching that works for CPS that we could have that conversation with, we absolutely would love to have the conversation, because I know y'all got some questions, right?
So what I'm saying, that makes sense, right? Okay. All right. I thought we was in the Twilight Zone, maybe. I don't know.
I stay in the Twilight Zone, actually, because I'm like, I just can't believe this is real life. Like, I can't believe that we pay people, and I believe the superintendent in this district makes over $600,000 a year with his incentives.
Does the super know that this is going on?
The super is a whole other problem, but I'm gonna be nice today, because I think that attitude reflects leadership, and the boat really, the one who's steering the boat, that's who people are following.
Board of Education,
I believe the Board of Education I think that we need to start really looking at replacing folks, because they're allowing this superintendent to run a dictatorship where these people are following his lead. And so it makes me think that maybe he needs to go to some damn training. I don't know. But something needs to happen, because the way that it's working is not working for our children. And we need to be honest about that. It's not working for Black children.
Not going to give up. And soon you're going to see one of them kids going to be on that Board of Education. And
Trinity.
I'm trying to tell you.
Trinity is currently running for the student position on the Board of Education here in Elk Grove Unified School District. I hope her association with me does not hamper her chances of doing that, because they already know I don't play when it comes to our children. So I hope that does not translate negatively or reflect negatively on Trinity. However, they need somebody in there that's going to be the conscience, and that's going to tell them the truth. And right now they just have a bunch of, people going along to get along, and we can't afford that. Not in these times. Our children deserve more, and they deserve us to be at the table, not wait for an invitation. I bring my own chair every time I come up, because it's important that we as parents set the tone. They don't work for themselves. They work for the families of this district. But it be for the parents and the families of this district, they would not have a position to administrate. So let's be clear about that.
And you young ladies, you continue to push. Do not ever let any of this stuff discourage you or make you feel like you did not have any value or worth. Because if you didn't, it wouldn't be worth anybody being intimidated, misunderstanding, or fearful of you. You continue to love yourselves. You continue to see yourselves as queens, and you keep pushing forward. And don't keep letting the game push you down. Get in there and be some players and change the play.
And when the adults come up, try to go head up with you. You guys got adults in your corner that is going to push back.
And that's how it's supposed to be. The children of the future, we're supposed to make sure you're equipped with the tools. You get out here and get it. And if something push back on you, we supposed to push back like, no, we got you. They're not going to stop you. So where are you parents at that ain't doing that? I don't know. But
that's all right. We're going to get them together.
We not going to wait around on people either. But y'all got to also believe in yourselves.
Yep, and while you believing in yourself, keep my number on speed dial. Anyway,
yeah.
Without we hit the time limit for today. I'd like to thank all of y'all for joining. Again, we'll be back here next Monday at 4 p.m. Tune in and make sure we get to your comments, because it's important that you engage in the topics that we're talking about, because we cannot do this in a vacuum. We need everybody to sound off. Make sure you subscribe on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Make sure you go check out our student store where our shirts are available. They got them on. We got 2 different versions of the Black versus the Board of Education shirts. Make sure you download our new theme song, We In Here, on Spotify by M16 and the Full Moon Wolves. And with that, we're going to hit y'all with the wave. We're going to see you next week, 4 o'clock, right here. And hopefully Matt will be back. We'll see y'all later.